Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I am Zunaira, and today we will be talking about storyboarding. And we begin with asking the question, what is a storyboard? An advertising storyboard is a technique used by advertising agencies to plan and present concepts for television commercials. So it is a series of illustrations that provide a representation of the finished commercial in its proposed sequence. It's very similar to what we see in a comic book. If you would have seen, like how every scene is presented like in small boxes. It's something similar to that. Ironically, this is how the concept of storyboard began. It was first developed at the Walt Disney Productions during the early 1930s, and after several years of similar processes being used at Walt Disney and other animation studios. Why we need a storyboard for advertising? The first is because creating a storyboard will help us plan the animation shot by shot, and we can make changes to the storyboard before we start animating. We can also talk about our animation and show it to other people and take their advice, and all of this, instead of filming the whole advertisement again and again, it is better to plan it on a storyboard, and that also saves cost.
Moving on to the types of storyboarding, the first and most basic type is traditional storyboarding. It is a series of pencil or ink sketches, either displayed in sequences or connected together in a spiral bound book, and you can see the picture there. It's very simple, it's hand-drawn using pencil probably, and can be done in a matter of minutes. And moving on to another type of storyboard, which is the thumbnail. It is very small, as the name suggests. It should be like the size of your thumbnail. And it is the fastest and simplest form of storyboarding. It allows the sketch to be done within literally minutes, much faster than traditional storyboarding. And this is mostly used in comic books or prior to making a more detailed storyboard. For example, before making a traditional storyboard, you would make a thumbnail first, but it is the simplest, basically. Another type of storyboard would be the animatics, and this uses a computer technology to film the sketch, individual sketches, to create a sensation of motion and timing. And sometimes, instead of sketches, toys are used to make this animation, as you can see in the moving pictures. And then the last one is photomatics, also a little similar to animatics, but it uses digital images instead of sketches or toys. And what it does is that it makes a more realistic feel, and thus it is usually used to pre-plan expensive film shoots, so that changes can happen without costing too much. And there's a YouTube link we'll put in the description later. You can view for an example of a photomatic. And these are my source for the types of.
My name is Khanum. So today we're going to, from what is storyboarding to why storyboarding and the types of storyboarding, I'm going to talk about how to do storyboarding. So basically the aim of storyboarding is that you visualize your imagination in a simple way for people to see. So it's important to note that you're going to focus on the big idea instead of the details, so that people can see in general what your idea is. And according to Sir Ridley Scott, one of the best filmmakers, he gave the advice to get rid of the white canvas. So basically you start with a word or with an illustration, with a picture or with a color that get you going to create the image that you want other people to see through your storyboard. Right, so how do you do it? The first step is to identify the key scene in your story, create a timeline to keep it consistent. Unless your narrative is choppy, then you can have choppy timeline, but mostly when it comes to a story, it's usually linear, so you want to create a timeline to keep it consistent. And then you got to consider the setting, action, and emotions that's involving in every of your scene, so that you can engage with your audience. And then you got to keep the details simple, keep it practical and simple. And number 5, you have to have a cell of description, maybe a significant dialogue to emphasize on that scene.
Assalamualaikum. After we know everything about storyboarding, how do we start? There are lots of platforms for traditional and digital storyboards. For the traditional, it is very easy. Just grab a paper and start drawing. However, for the digital storyboarding in the current digital world. So there are countless applications and websites to help you do storyboards without much effort and also without any drawing skill. So the first one, let's go to the mobile applications. You can see Penultimate and Paper. You can get it for free. If you want extra features, you have to pay. For the Storyboarder, it is completely free, but only available on Google Play. And the paid version is too. You can get it on iTunes, and Storyboard Studio, you can get it on Google Play. Software, the paid versions, you can find it a lot on the internet. Just search for it. But this one is the top two for the paid softwares. And the free one, people always underlook PowerPoint, but trust me, it is very useful if you don't have any budget. And lastly, for websites, if you don't have enough storage in your laptop or you're just like on the cyber cafe, you can also access storyboarding platforms on Canva, Storyboard that. This is among the top of the search list, and Storyboard Pro by Atomic Learning. Whereas the paid versions, you have to pay subscriptions. Most of them you have to pay monthly. So that's all for today. For other listed applications, you can simply look up the links. Thank you so much for having us. Okay. Bye. Assalamualaikum.